Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my English story podcast. Today, I want to share a funny and a little embarrassing story from my life. It is about the very first time I tried to cook something by myself. Last year, one weekend, my parents went to visit my grandparents. They told me, "Don't forget to eat. You can order pizza or cook something simple." I nodded and said, "Don't worry, I will be fine." But inside, I had a big plan. I wanted to surprise them and cook dinner all alone. I imagined myself like a real chef in a famous restaurant. I thought, maybe cooking is easy. You just put things together, right? I was full of confidence. So, I entered the kitchen, stood in the middle, and said out loud, "Tonight, I will make the best omelet in the world." The fridge was full of food, but I decided to use only simple ingredients: eggs, tomatoes, cheese, and bread. Easy. How difficult can it be? I took the eggs in a bowl. When I broke the first egg, the yellow part looked good, but plop, a big piece of eggshell also fell inside. I thought, okay, no problem. I can take it out. But have you ever tried to catch a small eggshell piece in liquid egg? It is impossible. Every time I moved the spoon, the piece ran away like a little fish in water. I chased it for 5 minutes. I was sweating. Finally, I caught it. Victory. Then came the second egg. Crack. This time, half of the eggshell fell in. I laughed nervously and said, "Maybe it is extra calcium. Maybe it is healthy." But of course, I cleaned it. After breaking 3 eggs, I felt tired already. Cooking was harder than I thought. Next step, tomatoes. I washed them and started to cut. But my knife skills were terrible. Some pieces were big like apples, others were small like grapes. I tried to cut nicely, but the tomato juice ran everywhere. My t-shirt, my hands, the table, everything was red. It looked like a small crime scene. Still, I continued bravely. I put the tomatoes into the bowl, added cheese, some salt, and a lot of pepper. I love pepper, but maybe I added too much. The bowl looked beautiful, colorful, and fresh. I felt like a winner again. Now, it was time for the real challenge: cooking on the stove. I put oil in the pan and turned the heat to the maximum. Bad idea. The oil started to jump and make scary noises. Pshhhh. Pshhhh. I stepped back and watched with big eyes. But I didn't give up. I poured the egg mixture into the pan. At first, it looked okay. The eggs started to cook fast, maybe too fast. I forgot to lower the heat. After 2 minutes, smoke started to rise. Oh no, the omelet was cooking too much on the bottom, but the top was still raw. I tried to flip it with a spoon, but the omelet broke into 3 strange pieces. At that exact moment, the fire alarm started. Beep, beep, beep. I panicked. I opened the window quickly, and fresh air came in. Some neighbors looked at me with curious faces. I smiled and waved, pretending everything was normal, like, yes, I always cook with a fire alarm. Finally, the omelet was ready. Well, kind of. I put it on a plate. Honestly, it looked horrible. One side was black like coal, the other side was yellow but raw. The cheese was everywhere. It looked like modern art, not food. But I was hungry. I took a small bite. To my surprise, it was not so bad. A little burnt, a little salty, but edible. I sat at the table, ate slowly, and thought about my adventure. I laughed at myself. I remembered my dream of being a famous chef. Maybe not today, but it was a good start. Later, my parents came home. My mom smelled the air and said, "What happened here? Did something burn?" I tried to hide my plate, but she saw it. She laughed and said, "Well, at least you tried. Next time, we will cook together." That day, I learned 2 important lessons. First, cooking is not as easy as it looks on YouTube. Second, mistakes are part of learning. Today, after 1 year, I can cook omelets very well. I can even add mushrooms, onions, and make them look beautiful. but I will never forget my first black and white omelet and the sound of the fire alarm saying, beep, beep, beep. So, if you're learning cooking, don't worry about mistakes. Laugh, learn, and try again. One day, you will be proud, just like me. Thank you for listening to my funny story. See you in the next episode.